Good afternoon, dear students. My name is Dr. Shuaib Mohammad Bhat. I'm working as Assistant Professor in the Department of English at Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Hyderabad. Today in this video lecture, I shall be talking on a very important topic, that is impact of improved planning in oral presentation. So we shall be talking about the impact of planning in oral presentation. How can we enhance our communication with the help of the planning in oral presentation? This is today's topic. Okay, let's see what the topic speaks about. First, I would like to talk about introduction. I would like to give you introduction of this topic. So in this dynamic landscape of modern communication, the ability to articulate thoughts, convey ideas persuasively, and engage an audience is paramount. When we talk about the modern world, this dynamic landscape of modern communication, when we talk about modern communication, when we talk about this dynamic landscape of modern communication, so in this dynamic landscape of modern communication, the ability to articulate thoughts, to share thoughts, to talk with the people, to communicate with the people, to convey ideas persuasively and engage an audience, it's of paramount importance. This is one of the greatest things. If you have the ability to articulate your thoughts, to engage your audience, to convey your ideas persuasively, to make your audience spellbound, so that means you are having one of the greatest qualities in you. And oral presentation, whether in academic, professional or personal contexts, they serve a powerful medium for effective communication. And when we talk about oral presentation, because the topic is planning for oral presentation, so when we talk about oral presentations, whether we deliver these oral presentations in academic circles, whether they are the part of any professional circle, or whether they belong to some personal context, they serve a powerful medium for effective communication. Oral presentation, first we need to know one thing: what is the purpose of oral presentation? If it is oral presentation, if it is some like PPTs we are using, if it is public speaking, if it is any normal topic or any normal mode of speaking. So all these modes of speaking, whether it is public speaking, whether it is oral speaking, whether it is normal communication between two people, so it's all a communication. We convey ideas by these different forms of communication. We share our ideas, our opinions, our feelings with other people by these different modes of communication. So oral presentation, whether it belongs to any personal context, whether it belongs to any profession, whether it belongs to any academic circle, so it is one of the important mediums of effective communication. The bridge between a speaker and their audience is often strengthened or weakened by the levels of planning invested in the presentation. Now this bridge, this gap between the speaker and the audience, the speaker and the listener or listeners, this gap is cemented. This gap is strengthened or weakened by the level of planning you invest in your presentation. In other words, we can say your planning, the time or the investment you are giving for your planning, that is going to define whether you are successful in your communication or not. Because when you plan, you are taking a lot of things in your mind in consideration: your audience, their background, their knowledge, their mindset. You are taking in consideration the physical environment of the place where you speak. You are taking in consideration your language which you are speaking for conversation. So you are taking different things on board than only you speak. So planning is having its impact on the way, or planning is having its planning which can make or break your communication, your oral presentation. If you give adequate attention to the planning, there are chances that your communication may be good, it may be effective. Your presentation may be effective presentation. But if you do not give much attention to your planning, there are chances that your presentation may be weak presentation. It may not be up to the mark. Now, effective planning, it's more than a procedural precursor. It's the bedrock upon which successful presentations are built. So it's not like, planning is not like only you get to know about the procedure which you have to use for the upcoming presentation. It's not only that. It's a bedrock. It's a foundation. It's a basement. It's the base. It is a foundation upon which your successful presentation, upon which successful presentations are built. It's upon the successful planning, successful presentations are built. So your planning is the foundation, is the bedrock, is the base for your successful presentation. If your planning is good, your presentation would be good. If your planning is weak, your presentation would be weak. This process involves meticulous consideration of what? Of content, audience, structure, delivery methods. So this planning, it's not the name given to a single element. It includes different things like content. What sort of content I should include in my presentation? What sort of audience I am going to talk? What sort of structure I should give to my presentation? What are the different delivery methods I should use for my presentation, etc. Different other things are there which we need to include while preparing an oral presentation. It transforms a mere speech into a compelling narrative, ensuring that information is not only shared but comprehended, retained, and ideally embraced by the audience. So it transforms a mere speech into a compelling narrative. You can transform a normal speech into a compelling narrative when you plan that in such a way. It's your planning which is going to tell you, yes, your presentation is not a normal record of your speech, but it's a compelling narrative. When you give that speech considerable attention, and it ensures that information is not only shared. It gives you this assurance that information is you're not only sharing the information, or your information is not only shared, but it's comprehended. When you plan your presentation well, your presentation will be comprehended. It will be retained. It will be ideally embraced by the audience. They will find your presentation ideal presentation, and they will embrace it as if it is an ideal presentation. So planning is important. Planning is much required. It's not like you plan or you are getting aware of only one or two components of your presentation, which dress you are going to wear and which place you are going to present your ideas. No, it contains each and everything which you are using for that presentation. From your dress, from your ideas, from the podium on which you speak. It includes the surrounding. It includes audience, their perception, their language, their demography, their age. Different. All these things, they come under planning. Now, here are some key considerations and steps to help you plan effectively. If you're planning for an oral presentation, there are some important points which I want to discuss with you. They will help you to plan your presentation effectively. Number one is understand your audience. What is the first thing? First thing is you need to understand your audience. Understanding your audience is pivotal, is important in delivering an effective oral presentation. To understand your audience is very important when you are delivering a presentation. In order to prepare an oral presentation, an effective oral presentation, you need to be aware with your audience. What sort of audience you are going to talk to? So what is their age? What is their perception? What is their mindset? So by considering factors such as demographics, knowledge level, interests and values, you can tailor your message to resonate with your listeners. So a speaker must know the demographics of the audience, the age group of the audience. For example, you are going to just deliver a talk to the senior citizens. You cannot crack nonsense jokes there with senior citizens. You cannot use childish language. Rather, you can use wise language, because senior citizens are listening to you. They are carrying 50, 60, 70 years of their life experience. So they hear you, they listen you from that experience. You cannot quote commonplace incidents, because these incidents may be common to them. They have been witnessing those incidents since their childhood for past 50, 60 years. So the language may be different. Your illustrations may be different. Your content may be serious, may be grave. Now, on contrary, you have small children, teenagers. Now, you cannot make your talk very dry, very serious, very grave. You can take the content which is light in nature, which can be easily understood by these teenagers. So this should be the scene of your content. So a speaker, while preparing an oral presentation, must be aware of the demographics of the audience, age of audience, their knowledge level. Your audience, you are talking to the people who are illiterate, and you are giving the examples of rocket science, you are giving the examples of astronomy, you are giving the examples of some abstract ideas, abstract things. So they cannot understand you, because the science, because the subject, because the details you are giving to them, they are very unknown to them. They cannot understand rocket science because they had never heard about rocket science. So they can love to listen you when you talk about common day incidents, common day happenings. No doubt your subject matter may be something different, but you can choose the way of illustration by quoting common day incidents, common day happenings. And you must know the interests of your audience, because when you talk according to the interests of your audience, they listen you better. You should know the values of your audience. You may be talking something which is against their values, against their norms. So that will give a very negative feeling to your audience. They may not listen you, they may just avoid you. So a presenter, while preparing for oral presentation, must know the values of the audience which he is supposed to talk, which he is supposed to give presentation. So then only we can tailor our message to resonate with your listeners. Then we can tailor, we can craft, or we can draw, or we can write our presentation. We can construct our presentation which aligns with our listeners, which is according to the interests of our listeners. Then assessing the purpose and expectations of the audience helps in crafting content that aligns with their goals, whether it is providing information, inspiration, or a call to action. Now, assessing the purpose and expectations of the audience. You need to assess, you need to know the purpose and expectations of the audience. What audience is expecting from you? For what purpose they came here? So when you assess this, when you reach to this level, when you get to know what your audience demands from you, it will help you in crafting content that aligns with your goals. It will help you to write that content in your presentation, to include that content in your presentation, which helps the audience to get their goals, whether it is providing information, inspiration, or call to an action. Whether you are informing them or inspiring them, or whether you are calling them for an action. And cultural sensitivity is crucial, acknowledging and respecting diverse backgrounds. A speaker, a presenter, while preparing the oral presentation, must be aware of the cultural sensitivity. That's very crucial. That means to acknowledge and respect the background of every audience member. You cannot talk about that thing which is culturally prohibited in somebody's culture. You cannot show those gestures which may not be allowed in some culture, because you are having a heterogeneous mass of men listening to you. So when you are having different audience, when you are having people who belong to different cultures, you must have the sense of cultural sensitivity. You should have that nerve to respect everybody's culture and acknowledging everybody's culture, because people who listen you, they are from diverse backgrounds. Then the size of the audience influences your delivery style, with larger groups often requiring clear articulation and visual aids. Now you should know what is the size of your audience. If you have a larger audience, you need clear articulation because you have to be loud. Large audience is there. It's better if you showed some visual aids, because big audience is listening to you. When you show them, they get to know what you want to speak about. So these are the points which one should take care, one should keep in mind while preparing an oral presentation. And all these points, they come under understand your audience. So because of these points, we get to know about our audience. Then the next thing is gauge the audience's attitude, or measure the audience's attitude toward the topic to tailor persuasive strategies accordingly. When you are planning for oral presentation, now you need to measure the audience's attitude toward your topic, the topic which you are going to discuss, or the topic which you are discussing. You can prepare. While on the stage, you can plan about the future actions, about the future statements. So it is better to measure the audience's attitude toward the topic to tailor persuasive strategies accordingly, so that you can use the persuasive strategies in your dialogue, in your speech, in your presentation. When you speak about the title, you get to know what are the intentions of your audience regarding the title. You can measure this. If the topic is accepted by everyone, approved by everyone, you can go on. But sometimes the people may not just be in favor of your topic. They may not want to listen to that topic. So when you get to know about this feeling, about this attitude of your audience, so you can switch to those examples which can make them spellbound, and you will at the same time deliver the topic. So this is one more point. Then recognizing time constraints and adapting to various communication preferences within the audience further enhances engagement. It's better to be aware of time constraint, because if you are calling for the audience for 1 hour, don't make it 1 hour, 1 minute. Never ever. Because time, it has value, it has respect. And there may be people, when people came to listen to you, they have left some work, they came to listen to you for that period of time. And they may be having some other assignments on other time. So don't take extra time. Time constraint is very important. When you are time bound, you can make your audience, you can make close engagement with your audience. Now, creating opportunities for feedback, be it through question answer sessions or interactive polls. It fosters a more dynamic and responsive presentation, ultimately contributing to a successful communication experience. It's better you give audience the time, the opportunity to give you feedback. It may be the question answer session, or it may be interactive polls by which you come to know about your feedback. So it will foster a dynamic and responsive presentation. When you get to know about your weaknesses, next time you will plan about them, you will prepare them, so your presentation would be a dynamic presentation. And it will also give you the feeling of successful communication experience at the end. The next point which you need to take care of when you are planning for oral presentation, that is define the purpose. So in an oral presentation, defining your purpose is like to setting the compass for your communication journey. In an oral presentation, when you are defining your purpose, it's like as if you are just setting your compass for your communication journey. So when you talk about the purpose of your presentation, you set the compass of your communication journey. Because your audience, they get to know what you are talking about. They get to know what you will be discussing in your presentation. So when you tell them in advance your purpose, so you feel there is your communication journey is like it's strong communication journey, because your audience, they are following a particular purpose. They are listening you for a particular purpose. Then your journey serves as a guiding force that shapes the content, tone, and delivery of your message, whether your goal is to inform, persuade, or inspire, or entertain. A clear and well-defined purpose provides a roadmap for both you as the presenter and your audience. So it's your purpose that serves as a guiding force. Your purpose serves as a guiding force. It shapes the content, it shapes the tone, it shapes the delivery of your message. So when you talk about your purpose, when your audience gets to know about the purpose of your message, of your presentation, so this purpose, it sets the content, it shapes your content, because your audience, they are now following you very clearly, because they're trying to get a purpose. They're following that purpose which you showed them earlier, which you told them earlier. So they shape your content. When everybody listens to you, obviously you are shaping your content, your tone, your delivery of your message. Now, whether you inform them, you persuade them, you inspire them, or you entertain them, these are different forms of communication. It may be informative in tone, it may be in nature, persuasive in nature, inspirational in nature, entertaining in nature. And a clear and well-defined purpose provides a roadmap for both you as the presenter and your audience. A well-defined purpose, when you speak the purpose of your presentation to your audience, it serves as a roadmap to you as a presenter and your audience as well. Because when you tell the purpose to your audience, you are following different steps to reach to that purpose. And your audience, they are following that purpose. They are curious to listen from you regarding that purpose. So to talk about the purpose is a roadmap. Then it crystallizes the key takeaway you aim to impart and ensures that every element of your presentation aligns cohesively to achieve that objective. It crystallizes the key takeaways. It crystallizes the key takeaway. For example, there is in every presentation, there is a lesson, a message is there, which you want your audience to take with them, which you want your audience to learn, to grasp, to understand, to take away with them. So your roadmap, your purpose, it crystallizes the key takeaway, that it crystallizes that, which you aim to impart and ensure that every element of your presentation aligns cohesively to achieve that objective. So your roadmap, it sets every element of your presentation in such a way so that audience easily achieves that objective. Audience easily takes that takeaway which you want them to take with them. So this is how your purpose works for your presentation, for your effective presentation. Next point for this is, by articulating your purpose with clarity, you not only anchor your own focus but also facilitate a more meaningful and impactful connection with your audience. Now, when you talk about your purpose with clarity, so you are not only anchoring your own focus, but you facilitate a more meaningful and impactful connection with your audience. It's not like you are anchoring your focus. When you talk about your purpose, obviously, you are just anchoring your focus. You are just helping yourself to stay focused regarding that purpose which you shared with your audience. But at the same time, you are facilitating a more meaningful and impactful connection with your audience, because they are spellbound to you. When they listen you carefully, when they give attention to you, so obviously that is a meaningful and impactful connection. And you invite them to engage with your message in a purposeful and intentional manner. By talking about your purpose, you are allowing your audience to talk to you in a purposeful and intentional manner. Then, the next point is structure your content. First was know your audience, understand your audience. Second is define your purpose. Third is structure your content. Now, structuring your content in an oral presentation is like to creating a roadmap for effective communication. When you structure your content, you are preparing a roadmap for effective communication. So it is a roadmap for effective communication, because your audience, they get to know. They know what are the different things you are going to talk. They know when you will be talking about conclusion, when you will be talking about main idea, when you will be giving introduction. A well-organized structure ensures clarity, coherence, and audience engagement. Now, what is the requirement of structure? Why do we need structure for oral presentation? We need structure for three main reasons. Number one is clarity. Number second is coherence. Number third is audience engagement. Every presenter wants his or her speech to be clear. Every presenter wants his or her speech must be lucid, and it must contain clear ideas which can be easily accessed and which can be easily understood and assimilated by the audience. So that is what we call as clarity. So clarity can be given to you if you structure your presentation. If you separate the introduction part, if you separate this body, then conclusion, if you divide different ideas in the body in different paragraphs, in different slides, if you give one or two examples to every idea. So this is how you structure your presentation. When you structure your presentation, you give clarity, you bring clarity to your presentation. Number second is your presentation will be coherent. There will be an order. It's not like you are talking about the bottom first, then you are talking about the top first. It's not like your introduction is merged with your body and your conclusion sometimes comes at the beginning. No. There is a coherence, there is an order in your presentation, and it can come to you. You can bring order to your presentation when you structure your content, when you structure it. Then audience engagement. What can structure give you apart from clarity and coherence? That is audience engagement. See, when you are following a particular structure, that means your audience is assimilating, they are understanding, they are getting each and every fragment of your presentation according to the order. When everything is well ordered, audience will get engaged with your presentation. When everything is clear, everything is ordered, obviously audience will be engaged with your presentation, because whatever you speak, that's clear. There is no ambiguity. Nothing is ambiguous there. Nothing is complex there. Nothing is intriguing there. Everything is clear. So there is order. There is nothing random. There is nothing like bizarre or haphazard. Everything is in order, in sequence, in coherence. So when everything is clear and ordered, audience engagement will be there. 100% audience engagement will be there. Now, how can we structure our presentation? Number one is begin with a compelling introduction that grabs attention and clearly states the purpose of your presentation. So we need to begin with a compelling introduction. Introduction must be compelling. Because see, first impression is the last. The way you start giving introduction, that is going to define to the audience what sort of presenter you are. So when your introduction is compelling, obviously, audience may be spellbound towards you. So it's always better to start with a compelling introduction, and then that grabs attention and clearly states the purpose of your presentation. What will happen with your introduction, compelling introduction? You will grab the attention of your listeners, and you will clearly state the purpose of your presentation. Then, and follow this with a structured body, dividing your content into logical sections, each addressing a key aspect of your topic. The next point which you need to take care of, that is, you need to follow with a structured body. So your body should be structured. For example, as I told you, you're talking about 3 different ideas. So they should be divided in sub-slides, in different slides. Divide your content into logical sections. There should be a logical order about these sections in the body. It's not like you are talking about the bottom first, then about the top at the end. No, that's not the logical order. Logical order is when you talk about the first idea, then second, then third. So there should not be the random selection of the ideas. Rather, there should be a proper sequential selection of the ideas. So each addressing a key aspect of your topic, and every idea which you are sharing in your body of the presentation, that should align to the key aspects of your topic. Then use clear transitions to guide your audience seamlessly through your points, reinforcing connections between ideas. Use clear transitions to guide your audience seamlessly through your point. Now, you are making certain transitions in your presentation. When you are moving from one idea to another idea, when you are jumping from one idea to another idea, so it's always better when you are jumping from one idea to another idea. So it's always better that it should be seamless. There should not be any interruption. So you should reinforce the connection between ideas. And in the conclusion, summarize key takeaways and leave a lasting impression. In the conclusion, what we should do, we should summarize the key takeaways. The key takeaways which we want our listeners, which we want our audience to take with them, we should summarize them so that they can have lasting impression on the audience. And this structured approach not only enhances the audience's understanding of your message, but also aids in retention. So this structured approach, when we structure our presentation, it's not only enhancing audience and our audience's understanding, but it also helps them in retention. They can retain the information for the long-term memory. And they make your oral presentation more impactful and more memorable when we structure our presentation. Next is visual aids. Now, what are visual aids? Visual aids, they play an important role in enhancing the effectiveness of an oral presentation by providing a visual dimension to the spoken words. It is very easy to understand. Every time visual dimension is very important, because when our spoken words, when our spoken statements, when they are enhanced, when they are supported by the visual dimension, so they are easy to understand. Everybody can understand them. Why? Why can people easily understand our spoken words when they are supported by the visual dimension? They are easily to understand because it's easier for humans to understand from the visuals. Because by visuals, we show them what we speak. We show them the practical of all that which we speak to them. So it's always very important. It's always helpful if we include some visual aids, some visual dimensions for oral presentation. It may be in the form of slide, it may be some chart, it may be some graph, it may be multimedia elements. So visual aids, they serve as powerful tools to strengthen, to reinforce key points, clarify complex information, and captivate audience's attention. So these visual dimensions, they reinforce key points, they strengthen the key points of your presentation, they clarify complex information. If there is anything complex which you cannot easily convey with the word of mouth, with your oral presentation, with your oral speaking, you can show that with the help of some graph, chart, or a video, or a photograph. And this visual dimension, it also helps you to captivate audience's attention. You can make your audience captivate with the help of these or visual aids. And well-designed visuals not only make the content more memorable, but also cater to diverse learning styles within the audience. Now, these well-designed visuals, they should be well-designed. It's not like you are just including some random visual that can derail you, that can just overshadow your communication, your spoken words. Your visuals, they should align to your spoken words. So these well-designed visuals, they are not only making the content more memorable, rather they cater to diverse learning styles within the audience. They cater There are different diverse learning styles. There may be some people in the audience who are not comfortable with your oral communication. So when you show them, they can easily understand. There are people who are deaf. So they may not be listening you. So when you show them, they can understand you. There are people who are having some hearing problems. Not the permanent deaf people, but hearing problems may be there with the people. So different problems are there. Psychological problems which do not allow a person to grasp what is being spoken. When you show that with the help of visual dimension, that can easily be understood. Then, these visual dimensions, they act as a supportive backbone, aiding the presenter in conveying information more comprehensively and facilitating a deeper connection with the audience. It's a supportive backbone. No doubt, whatever you are speaking, that may be enough for your presentation. But it is a support, a visual support, by which you can make every complex idea very simple, by which you can make your information more comprehensive, and by which you can make a strong connection with your audience. Then, however, it is crucial to strike a balance, ensuring that visual aids complement rather than overshadow the spoken message, promoting a harmonious and engaging presentation experience. But it's very crucial to strike a balance. See, it's not like I'm showing you visuals and I'm speaking about something else. We need to be very careful while choosing the visuals, because these visuals, they should not overshadow our talk. Whatever I'm speaking, it should support it, rather it should not overshadow it. Because the main concern of my speech is the thing which I'm speaking to you. So this visual I'm showing you to support my argument. I'm not showing it in order to overshadow my argument. This thing you need to keep in your mind. When you are preparing for oral presentation, your slides, your visuals, they should support your argument, rather they should not overshadow your argument. If they are overshadowing your argument, that's a faulty presentation. Time management, one of the important points. So time constraint is paramount in the context of oral presentation. So you need to just finish your presentation in the allocated time. Because as I told you earlier, your audience has come. Your audience is the busy audience. You need to keep this thing in your mind. They are busy people. They manage the time for me. And they have only this time slot free in their life which they are supposed to be here. If it is 1 hour, it should not be 61 minutes or 1 hour, 1 minute. It should be only 1 hour, only 59 minutes, 59 seconds. So by that, you are giving them the feeling, yes, I'm not going to you, because people may have some other assignment as well. People may have some other work more important than your speech. So skillful presenters, the expert presenters, they are always time bound. They finish their presentations within the time. So when you are not exceeding the allotted time and when you are not rushing your presentation, two things. It's not only you are exceeding the time, you are making 1 hour, you are taking up to 1 hour, 20 minutes. Another thing is you are rushing the time. If it is 1 hour, you are just finishing the half hour content. You are running. Your content is very, very large enough content, but you are rushing with the content trying to finish it in 1 hour. No, that's also harmful to the effective presentation. So planning and rehearsing within the time constraints, it allows a person to remain time bound. So planning is required for time management. This approach, this time management, it not only respects the audience's time, but also enhances the overall coherence and clarity. When everything is time bound, obviously clarity will be there because you are not including redundant stuff in your speech. You are including all essential elements in your speech. Then practice. One of the important things, that's practice. It is a cornerstone of effective presentation. It contributes significantly to a speaker's confidence, fluency, and overall delivery. Your practice is helping your confidence, to boost your fluency, and it helps for your overall delivery. So what are the different areas where we need practice? We need practice for the articulation, for the pacing, for the non-verbal cues. So when we take practice sessions, we get an opportunity to know, to identify our potential stumbling points. We get to know our weaknesses. We get to know our strengths. We get to know where we need to give more attention, where we need to give more focus. We get to know where we should skip, and we get to know where we should move forward. So these are the different things which we get to know by practice. And practice also tells us where we should reduce the material or where we should include some other examples. Then feedback. One of the important elements of oral presentation, or for preparation of oral presentation, that is feedback. Your feedback is much valuable. It's the feedback which allows you to know whether you are a successful presenter or not. So it's not only question answer session. So there are other things you can just it may be interactive polls, or you can share some questionnaire, or you can make a page on like Google Docs where people can share their feedback to you. So it's feedback which tells you what are the different things, which lets you to know, to identify your weakness and your strength. What are the different things you need to take care of when you are talking to the public, when you are delivering an oral presentation? What are the different things where you are strong in oral presentations? It's your feedback. Constructive feedback. It provides presenters with an opportunity to adjust content, delivery style, and pacing to better. It allows you how to adjust your content, your delivery, your style. It tells you how you can speak according to the needs of your audience, according to the needs and expectations of your audience. So this is all for today. There is a conclusion. In conclusion, as I told you, these are the different points, like understand your audience, know your audience. There are other different things like non-verbal cues are there. As I told you, time management is there. Different things are there. So we need to just take care of all these things. Practice is there, and visual aids are there. Non-verbal communication is there. So we need to take care of all these things when we are planning for oral presentation. When we take all these things on board, when we take all these things in consideration, the result will be an effective oral presentation. So I would like to stop here. If you want some extra information on the content, these are the sources you can get some extra information. So this is all for today. Thank you. Thank you for listening me carefully. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.